Hello and welcome to the Do You Like Films podcast. Today we've all recently just seen the Guardians of the Galaxy 2 and we're going to do a little review on it, see how we think about it, see what's good, see what's bad, and just generally chat and talk. And I'm joined here with my friendly friends of Michael. Say hello, dude.
Hello.
And also Shaunus.
Hello, friendly friend.
Oh, thanks. So let's just start off by talking about it, basically.
Yeah, I figured we'd maybe go non-spoilers in the beginning, give people a chance to check out the Do You Like Films podcast if they haven't watched Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 just yet. Run through a little bit of the plot, and then we'll make a big announcement. We'll go crazy and be like, spoilers! Stop listening right now, and then come back and watch the movie, and then come back and listen to the rest of the podcast.
I'm going to spoil it right now. Yondu is bluer. Yondu is bluer.
Oh, I can't believe you did that.
I'm sorry, man. I had to get it out.
So Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 almost carries on sort of directly from Volume 1. From what I've read and what I've heard, it's like there's a matter of months in between.
Okay.
Yeah.
So maybe it's taken like 6 months for Groot to go from a twig to like a baby, and they're still Guardians of the Galaxy. They're going around, they're taking money, and they're sort of saving the universe again. The team's back. Star-Lord, Gamora, Drax, Baby Groot, Rocket, and they pick up a few friends along the way, which we'll get into, of course. So the movie starts off. They're hired by the Sovereign. If you've seen the trailer for Guardians 2, they're the gold people.
Yeah, they're really gold.
They're super gold, like everything, all gold, everything. And they have to defeat this huge interdimensional squid-like tentacle monster, which I thought was pretty cool. And we also get in the intro a little bit of a backstory on Peter Quill's mummy and daddy. The trailers did spoil it. Kurt Russell, aka Ego, is Peter Quill's father, and we do get into that later on as well. And they go on an adventure together, and they save the universe. That's pretty much a sort of an overview of the plot without giving too much away. Anything you guys want to add to that?
I honestly thought Kurt Russell was a great choice for his father because he is kind of like portrayed in the same as the comic books. Like look-wise, but not so much what happens, but still look-wise, yeah.
He's old, he's wise.
He's old, he's wise,
he's handsome. That's where Peter Quill gets
full
it from.
beard.
Yeah,
And you believe, that he could be Chris Pratt's dad, I think.
Yeah.
There's scenes later on where they're bonding, and I really felt like I can imagine this. I can imagine these guys bonding.
Yeah.
Are we allowed to spoil yet?
Well, I just want to go over a few things before we get into spoilers.
That's cool.
I've written a couple of notes. In my personal opinion, I thought the movie was pretty great. Not without its flaws, and we'll get into those later on. I thought the first 20 minutes of the movie was incredible. It sort of went really quickly. It's fast-paced. There was lots of action. There's lots of comedy. And then it slowed down where you get into the sort of the meat of it, where you get into to know the characters a little bit more. We're developing the characters. And that bit was good on first viewing, but on the second viewing, I found a little bit laborious. But we'll get into that later on. And then the last sort of 20 minutes was again sort of full throttle, action-packed craziness and just general hilariousness. I thought the music usage wasn't quite as good as Guardians 1.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
There were a few good songs in there. Speaking of the intro, they use Mr. Blue Sky by ELO,
Which was a great choice, man.
Incredible. Like I couldn't help but smile that whole sequence there. But other songs I just didn't know, which is weird.
That is the only song that really sticks out, I suppose, actually.
Yeah.
It's the intro. They didn't really play it up too much, did they, compared to the
Yeah, I
first
think
one?
like for the first one, it was you didn't have to be a real 80s nerd to love all those songs and know all those songs. But this one, it felt more like if you were in the know, you'd be really enjoying them rather than obviously enjoying them.
Yeah, because in like a year's time, if I go Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 1 soundtrack, you'll go
Jackson 5.
Back, Jackson 5.
Yeah.
You'll go what's it?
Ain't no mountain,
Yeah, Hooked on a Feeling.
Hooked on a Feeling
Yeah,
by
Ain't No Mountain.
someone.
And then I'll go right. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2.
Mr. Blue Sky.
Another one.
Yeah.
That one by Cat Stevens at the end. I can't remember what it
Father
was.
and
S Club
Son.
7.
No.
Father and Son, yeah, that's a wicked song.
Yeah,
Actually, yeah.
that was quite good. But they're sort of bookend the movie.
You just
There's
ruined the ending, so everyone knows the last song.
Yeah,
So we're already
spoilers.
spoilers, brilliant. Don't bother watching
Great, yeah.
Sorry, guys. I apologise.
Yondu was blue.
Spoiler alert. I thought the general of the characters. I thought everybody sort of achieved something, which is always good in a movie. If there's a character that doesn't do anything, you sort of think, why were you there? Everybody had a little bit to do, and everybody had a purpose, or they had a bit of an arc, which I thought was pretty good. And they all had a bit of a chance to shine, you know. And we'll get into each individual character and what we thought of those in just a bit. And I thought it was just really funny. There was a lot of humor in it. As funny, if not maybe a little bit funnier than the first one. But then for me, on the second time of viewing it, it wasn't as funny. So I don't know if the jokes stand. Like on first viewing, cracking up, laughing, dying, crying. Second time around, I'm like, yeah, it's pretty funny. Yeah, I get it.
I got kind of annoyed with the only Drax, I guess. The amount of times that he laughed at it, kind of like I thought overstayed its welcome. Like,
Fair enough.
He did have some really good jokes, but then he just kept pushing it, and I was like, oh, come on, Drax.
I agree. I compared it to Stifler in the American Pie films. It's like in the first American Pie, Stifler is the funniest because it's like a treat when he comes on screen. And as it went on, they tried to make him a main character.
Yeah.
So it was more like, oh, he's back again, rather than. And I feel like they did that with Drax in this one. Like in the first one, it was such a great moment when he came out with something, whereas in this, it felt like maybe a few too many times that they were just chucking stuff and see what landed.
Yeah, no, I felt you
They
said
were
it better.
probably in a bit of a hard place because I think in the first movie they wanted him to be a little bit of comic relief, but they didn't know how much of a big impact it would have on people that sort of almost doesn't understand he's being funny, so doesn't quite get the joke. And you know, there's that one scene in Guardians 1 where Peter Quill's like, yeah, what we're going to do to him? And he puts his thumb against his throat, and then Drax is like, why would we rub our thumbs against stuff? It's like, you just don't get that. That's the funny thing there. Whereas in this one, he sort of says something kind of blunt and then laughs a lot, which I did enjoy. But then again, on second viewing, I found like, okay, get it.
Not too bad.
But for me, I thought Drax did have one of the funniest lines in the movie, but we'll get into that later on because it kind of ties into the end battle sequence. Anything non-spoiler related that you guys want to talk about before we talk spoilers?
Baby Groot. I just think Baby Groot was amazing. I think you could only do it for one film.
Yeah.
If it would lose its novelty if you did it again. But I just thought he was so cute, and I thought he was the funniest thing in it. Really, him and Rocket's relationship made me laugh the most, and I loved the caring element that Rocket has for Groot.
Well, I thought all of the Guardians sort of had a point where they sort of saw Groot as this baby figure and wanted to look after him and generally protect him.
Like that cute moment at the beginning with Gamora where he's all like just waving at her, and then she's like, "Hi," and then just jets off. But I
have the exact same opinion on Groot. Great, funny, cute. Kind of tugs on your heartstrings, but then at the end of the movie, I was like, yeah, I'm happy for him to grow up. Basically, if I had Baby Groot in Volume 3, I'd probably be like, oh, just mix it up a little bit.
I'd like to see Thanos versus Baby Groot. Don't think that. don't think that would be too much of a contest. Yeah.
Brilliant. I think that's a great place to leave the non-spoilers. So anybody out there listening, thanks for listening. And if you don't want to hear our thoughts and spoil the shit out of this movie, then tune out right now, pause it, and then go and watch the movie, and then come back, unpause it, and you'll hear our thoughts and feelings on Guardians of the Galaxy 2.
Can I do a spoiler alert sound? Am I allowed to do that?
How bad's it going to be?
It's going to be all right. Are you ready? Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert! Woo!
I think you need to work on that.
Okay, cool. I will.
Okay, guys. What did you think of the de-aging of Kurt Russell at the beginning? Did you not think it was flawless?
I thought it looked amazing.
I thought it looked incredible.
It was similar to Michael Douglas in Ant-Man, wasn't it?
Tony Stark in
good shout.
Civil War.
Yeah, forgot about that one.
Actually, the weirdest thing about that is I think Tony Stark's one is the weirdest one.
Yeah.
I feel like maybe because they go too young with him.
Yeah.
Whereas Michael Douglas and Kurt Russell they look phenomenal.
Yeah, it did look really, really good, actually.
Like, they've nailed that technology now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's no limitations on that. We're going to see, like, people who've been dead for years. Like, I reckon Christopher Nolan's going to be like, right, let's just do Batman again and just get Heath Ledger. We'll just reanimate his corpse and
Jesus.
we'll do this de-aging thing on him or whatever.
I mean, will it be disrespectful? Is that disrespectful or not?
Or is it paying homage?
It could be paying homage.
It's
yeah.
probably very disrespectful.
Probably.
Actually.
As long as the family get money, I don't mind.
I have a question for you both.
Yes.
Do you feel like at times this film felt like an impression of the first film rather than being its own film?
Yeah. Like we said about Drax, like hamming up the comedy like that. And like you got the whole rocket being damaged again situation because he says some lines in that.
Not necessarily the themes and things that come up. More maybe the music at times, and the moments that the music comes in. I felt like at times I was like, a song's about to play. It wasn't that I was shocked when bits came in. It just, for me, I really did enjoy it, and I thought it was a wicked film. I think maybe that first one's success is actually part of this one's downfall.
Yeah.
That you are thinking, oh yeah, that was great in the first one, but it was only 3 years ago. So it's kind of like it feels like it is homaging itself at times.
Yeah, I think that's a perfect way to describe it, really. The first one was such a big hit and it came out of left field that this one had so much to live up to that it kind of fell short in some respects. But for me, I still thought it was a great movie. Like, if you compare it to, I don't know, anything that DC have done,
Yeah.
it's miles
Yeah.
ahead.
It's
And
still
we're
better.
saying, oh, it's not quite as good as it's
Yeah.
living in the shadow as the first one. It still blows Suicide Squad
Yeah.
out of the water.
Yeah.
Batman
You know,
versus Superman as well.
yeah, and they had 3 characters or 4 characters to rely on. They had Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, and a bit of Lex Luthor.
Yeah.
And Guardians of the Galaxy managed to balance
Yeah.
Star-Lord, Groot, Rocket, Drax, Gamora, Nebula, Yondu, Kraglin a bit as well,
Yeah.
Taserface, Ego,
Sylvester Stallone, whoever he was.
Mantis, yeah, that guy, robot prostitutes, gold people,
Yeah.
all brilliantly.
Yeah,
That's true.
You're all right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I take it back.
So when we no, don't take it back. I thought your point was very poignant. I just want to sort of let people know we're not nitpicking because it's a bad movie. We're nitpicking because there's not that much bad about this movie. We're just trying to sort of make it an interesting review rather than going, "This is brilliant. I love that bit when Drax went and laughed at people." Because there were a few downfalls, but we're going to talk about them. But we'll talk positively as well.
I'm gonna keep on the negative train.
Oh, okay.
Do you think that sometimes the 80s stuff is too much? Do you think
What do you
that
mean, whole cinematography at the moment, or just?
I mean with Guardians, it seems like, I guess what I'm asking in a way is, do you think we should have a different director for Guardians of the Galaxy 3 so that it's not... James Gunn does seem to have this obsession with the 80s and things like that, which is funny, but at times would you not just want to see a Guardians of the Galaxy film that isn't constantly saying, remember that thing in the 80s when? Like David Hasselhoff having a cameo in this one
Oh yeah.
is funny, but is it a bit too much at times?
I think, like, for instance, I know it's not in the second one, but the first one with like the troll doll and stuff like that. Like, all, you are right to a certain extent, but at the same time, some people do enjoy the 80s kind of vibe. Like, that's one of the reasons why I like Guardians of the Galaxy, I reckon. Like, one of the main reasons. Not just because they're superheroes and that, but the like overall aesthetic of it all is like, yeah, it's very 80s, very colourful, and I just really like it.
See, my thing with it is it's part of the character, like the character of the movie, and it's part of Star-Lord. Like,
Yeah.
there's no way he can really progress because that's all he's known.
Yeah.
That's what
Like,
he's
he was
stuck in.
born in the 70s. His mum died in the 80s, and he was abducted from Earth in the 80s. He took his Walkman with him, which is full of like 70s and 80s music. So how does he move forward unless he goes back to Earth and then sort of becomes integrated into society?
Yeah, it's good.
Or, spoiler alert, at the end, he gets a Zune, which has 300 songs on
Oh,
it.
yeah.
Maybe he learns a bit more of sort of more contemporary music from that. And then in Guardians 3, we'll see maybe some 90s tunes or some 2000s
Yeah,
tunes
that
or
might
something like
happen.
that. But I didn't have a problem with the 80s stuff. I thought it fit the character really well. I like the David Hasselhoff stuff. I thought that was really funny. It's kind of cute the way he didn't know his father, and then he's all like, "My dad's Knight Rider, and he's got a talking car, and he solves crime." I thought that was really cute. I thought it was good.
Yeah.
So I didn't have a problem with the 80s stuff. Something I did have a problem with was the messy end battle scene. As much as I liked it, it was very all over the place.
Yeah.
I thought it could have been more controlled. And I know they wanted everybody to have their own little bit. It just seemed like it was really sort of disconnected. There was like the Star-Lord ego fight going on, and then there was like Mantis and Drax, and then there was like Rocket and Yondu. And I'd have liked to seen the Guardians come together and stuff. And I know everybody had their little part to do. Groot had to plant the bomb, and they had to sort of help each other out. But I would have liked a sort of a team effort kind of thing, like in the first movie where they go onto the ship and they're all sort of fighting together, and Groot has his bit and Rocket has his bit.
Yeah.
Drax is destroying and not just cracking jokes and stuff.
I mean, I do like the fact that they do the old camera spin again, though. Like they do it like 3 times in this film, I think. Everyone's just standing around like action poses.
Yeah.
But you are right completely. Like the end bit is really messy because I mean I can't think really what happened. I mean we saw it like a week ago or something like that. But the end fight to me is just. You're right, a blur.
The most memorable thing is when, like, Star-Lord and Ego are fighting, and they're sort of gods, but not gods, and they can sort of manipulate the planet, and he sort of almost turns into the thing at one point, and then he turns into Pac-Man, and there's that kind of craziness going on, and it kind of felt a bit disconnected for me. Although it looked great, and it was really exciting, and, everybody had something to do. I would have liked everybody to come together and fight this big planet, this big boss together.
Definitely. I mean, I found it really weird that like the whole storyline is kind of about Star-Lord, yet he's not really there. Do you know? He's not like as funny as he was in the last one, and everyone else seems to have a bit more screen time than him, I think. Like from what I was thinking. Like...
I did have that feeling as well, but at the same time, I think because there's so many characters and they've actually got so many interesting characters.
Yeah.
It is so difficult to have one lead in a film like this. Like in the Avengers as well, you don't really. I guess Tony Stark is the person that you associate as the main character in a way, but everyone does get their bit. So as great as I thought Chris Pratt as Peter Quill is, I kind of didn't mind it as much because I felt like everyone was getting their bit. If you know what I mean?
Yeah, because he definitely had his bit when the reveal is that Ego has gone around many planets and galaxies and impregnated women from each thing just so he can plant his god seed, and the only one that's stuck is Star-Lord. So then when Gamora and Nebula find all these corpses of dead children, and then he's like, well, I couldn't go back to Earth because I'd lose all my power. So I just gave your mum a tumor. That was kind of like
that moment's a great
holy shit kind of point, I sort of knew there would be something along those lines of, he had something to do with Peter's mum, but it was like the way he kind of came out with it, and then the way Peter reacted to it really straight away and just shot the living shit out of him. I thought that was really cool. I thought that was his moment, whereas everybody had a moment elsewhere, which we can talk about. What did you guys think of the Gamora Nebula stuff?
I was just about to ask. I thought it was really, really good. I thought it was great in the first one and made even better in this one. And like you were talking about Chris Pratt's moment, I thought Nebula's moment was, when she says about how Thanos used to make them fight against each other, and every time she'd lose, he'd take a piece of her away. I thought you really felt for this person. You really understood why she hated her sister so much. Yeah. And, then for her sister to see it from her sister's point of view, for Gamora to see it from her sister's point of view was such a interesting moment as well. And I thought that they just did that. And without showing Thanos, they showed more of what he's like. And I really liked that. Like, it didn't need a reveal in the film to have a real big moment of saying, like, this man used to make his children fight and then would remove a piece of the loser. It shows what kind of horrible character he is.
I'm going to offer a counterpoint. I didn't like it as much as you did. I liked those aspects of it. I liked the sort of the heart and the sisterhood and family behind it. What I didn't kind of like was the weird big space battle that they had to endure to kind of come together. I would have thought it'd been better and more, I don't know, more intimate if they were fighting sort of hand to hand. But whereas one bit, Nebula comes out of nowhere and just starts shooting wildly and misses every time, I thought that was a bit weird, and I know they had to sort of get to the underground part where they found all the bones and stuff like that, but I thought they could have done that a little bit differently, whereas, maybe sort of Nebula sneaks up on Gamora and gives her a chop, and then they have a little hand-to-hand combat and maybe roll down a hill or something, rather than this big sort of almost seems they put a big action set piece in there for no reason. It was just like guns and shooting and bullets flying everywhere and stuff like that. But again, nitpicking, I wasn't that bothered by it, you know.
What did you think to Rocket and Yondu?
Mate, I really loved Yondu in this film. I love the fact that he got his after he gets his head shot off, his thing that controls, his fin that controls the whistly thing.
Yeah.
Whistly thing.
Well, whatever
His
it
lips.
is. That is a sick weapon as well. That takes up like a whole army. So, but the fact that he has his big one from the original comics, that got me a little bit juicy. I was just like, oh, yeah, all right, I like Yondu. He's really cool. Yeah.
They have a great moment, don't they, Rocket and him, when Yondu says to him, you're me. Like, why do you keep pushing people away?
Yeah.
You just got to accept, these are your family now, and just. I think that's
Again,
that bit was really nice.
The movie was very much about family, wasn't it? It was more family than Fast and Furious 8.
Yeah, and that says family in it 8 times.
Whereas like Guardians, they say it a few times and they hint at it.
Yeah.
Whereas Fast and Furious, they're like, family. It's all about family. Whereas this was just like, you've got the two heads. You've got Gamora, who's like this sort of stern woman. You've got Peter, who's sort of the leader. You've got Drax, who's the big oafy brother who sort of looks after you. And you've got like Rocket, who's the little sort of wisecracking younger sibling. And then you've obviously got the baby there. And then you've got the grandfather, who would have been Yondu. Spoiler alert, he dies. We'll get into that in a little bit because that was an incredible part of the movie. It's just sort of this extended family, and I think that's what makes the Guardians of the Galaxy so good.
I thought what a great moment is when Peter, Chris Pratt's character, has been looking his whole life for a father figure, and then at the end realizing that Yondu was that father figure all along, and in such a sad but happy moment, because Yondu sacrifices himself so that Peter can live. It's like he has it for a short period of time, but then it's taken away. But at least he got to say thank you for everything he did for him.
Yeah, I almost cried at that bit.
Yeah, I did cry. I think I welled up.
That was actually my next point. Like, within the Marvel Cinematic Universe, I can't much remember many deaths that have had such a poignant impact on me. Do you guys think that the death of Yondu is the most incredibly well handled and the most impactful death that we've had in the MCU?
I mean, it's definitely one of them. Like, especially when all the ships come in again and they all pay tribute to Yondu and stuff. And the Southern guy, James Gunn's brother,
Shaun Gunn, Kraglin.
Yeah, Kraglin. Like when he was just like pounding his chest, being like Yondu, yes, like it was.
That
it was
got me
proper.
pumped.
I was like,
such
yeah,
a nice moment. In this wacky space adventure movie about family and gods and planets and stuff. This was like the most human part. It was people just paying tribute to a fallen brother. I thought that was an incredible scene.
I want to talk about something else, but it's like kind of the end credits at the same time. So shall I leave it to the end?
Yeah, let's leave it to the end.
Okay.
For me, we touched on it earlier. I thought Rocket was probably a standout character. And again, that ties in with Yondu and their relationship. I thought sort of Rocket had this like incredible arc of, accepting who he is and what he can do and who he is in part of this sort of this team, this family and stuff like that.
I think the thing I love the most about Rocket is just how much of a little shit he is. The whole film basically kicks off because he steals at the start, and it's like he can't help himself. And a great scene is when he's taking out some of the Reavers, and he's just having fun doing it. It's so nice to see.
Oh, when he's been all stealthy and stuff. Yeah,
see him laughing and just enjoying, and he's pressing the button, and they're constantly firing up and firing down. It's at times like that's what I love about superhero films, is that they can be serious, but at the same time they are superhero films, and I think Guardians does a great job of not forgetting those fun and great moments.
Yeah, most definitely.
I really love his jetpack gun thing as well that he has. He has it in the comic books as well, but to see it like on screen was like cool as fuck. Yeah. Like right at the beginning, seeing when everyone was fighting, that was wicked.
What did you guys reckon to the Sovereign, aka the Super Gold, all gold, everything people?
Oh, I don't know. I didn't really like them, to be honest with you. Like the scene where they was rolling out the carpet and it took way too fucking long for it to end. Like that fucked me off, and at that point I was like, I'm done.
To me, that seemed like one of those jokes where like James Gunn had written a part and then one of the studio execs went, how about we do this? And he's like, is that really that funny? Because like that doesn't seem like
it
James
doesn't-
Gunn funny to me.
Yeah, it seemed
And it was
seemed
like,
way out of place.
We'll do it. People will laugh. And he's like, oh, okay, then all right, we'll
Yeah.
do this sort of bit where they roll out the red carpet and it gets stuck and then everybody's really awkward and then they roll it out anyway. And it's like,
Yeah.
wasn't the worst bit, but
No, not by far. But
yeah, I kind of didn't get their whole thing. I know they tried to set it up in the beginning that they're this race who are super superior.
Yeah,
and
like
they
the
think,
perfect race in there. I
Yeah.
thought.
yeah, and they don't take, you know, sarcasm or jokes very lightly, and they're super uptight about everything. And Rocket's doing his whole sort of winking with the eye, which was hilarious. Yeah, and then they sort of almost turned into the second villain of the piece, but not quite. And it sort of took away from ego as well, because they're trying to battle that, and then that's happening as well, and it's sort of all piled on top, and it wasn't really focused for me.
no, I know what you mean. I didn't even like their stupid drone things that they had with all them pilots. Like it's like a video game kind of thing.
I thought it was kind of fun.
I didn't like it. I was like, oh, they're just destroying robots again. I want to see actual death, I guess.
Say more about you.
Yeah.
Speaking of death, we touched on it earlier as well. The Rocket Yondu escape scene, which leads off from an incredible moment you mentioned, Michael, about Baby Groot and his hilarity when Rocket and Yondu have been captured by the Ravagers, and sort of Groot's just being sort of bullied and put water on him and tease him and stuff, and then he comes over and he's like, "I'm sad," and then like, "Right, we need you to go and get the fin."
Oh,
And
yeah.
it's this incredible moment. I thought that scene, the first time I watched it, was hilarious. Second time I watched it, I thought it went on a little bit too long.
Yeah.
It's like
And
first
that's
he comes
what I
back with
liked about it.
underpants,
But yeah, when
then
he
he comes
brings-
back with an eyeball.
Yeah,
and
and
a
a,
desk.
and a toe.
Yeah,
Like when he brings back the
severed
toe, I was like, what the fuck?
I thought that's why I found it funnier, because it was one of those things where I stopped laughing and then started laughing again and stopped
Yeah.
laughing, because
Yeah.
it just got more and more stupid.
But like you said, I guess over time, like it would get kind of long, like
Yeah.
watching that scene.
But then
yeah.
again, for me, the reason probably I didn't find it so funny or as exciting as the first time I watched it, because I literally watched it within 24 hours of watching it the first time.
Okay.
So everything was super fresh in my mind. Having left it almost a week, if I watched it again, I'm sure I'd probably get more enjoyment out of it, or maybe wait till it comes out on DVD and then watch it again and sort of almost forget about every little joke and whatnot.
I have
But,
a question for you, Shaun.
yeah.
How was it watching it in 3D compared to 2D?
Yeah, because I was thinking about going watching it 3D tonight, to be honest.
Well, I didn't really feel the benefit of 3D. I swear movie studios and the people that convert movies to 3D do a half-assed job, because we work at a cinema, and part of our job is to check that the movies are working okay and that the 3D is working okay. So on the opening day, we had a 3D showing, and I thought, oh, I wonder what it looks like. And I put the 3D glasses on and stood at the back of the cinema, watched the opening scene with young Kurt Russell and Peter Quill's mum, and then the whole scene with the ELO Mr. Blue Sky and the big interdimensional...
Was you meant to be working at this time?
I was meant to be working, yeah. But I was checking the screen. And I was like blown away by the 3D. I was like, oh, if the whole movie is like this, it's going to be amazing. So
Yeah.
I went to watch it that night in 3D, popped on the 3D glasses, was in awe for the first 20 minutes. And then I swear they just went, this bit doesn't really need any 3D. We'll just switch back on to the end. And it was like, there were
really?
parts where you could literally take your glasses off and you could see it. Normally, anything that's meant to be in 3D is blurry. But this, like, there were literally parts I took my glasses off and nothing was in 3D. So
Really?
it felt like a waste of time for me.
That's what I think. That I've said my comments about 3D. I'll say it again.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take down the corporation. What I find frustrating when you watch it in 2D as well, there's so many moments in action scenes, especially where you go, well, that was made for 3D. Like it's like it's just put in for that. And then so I kind of think like, well, okay, if that's meant for 3D, you should watch it in 3D. But then you watch it in 3D and have the exact same experience as you, where you have about 5 great moments, and the rest of the time I have the glasses off. I just think, what's the point in having them on?
Yeah.
So let's just decide no 3D.
Yeah. Or
Right now, let's
shoot
go.
the movie in 3D, like Jackass 3D was meant to be in 3D.
That was amazing.
It was incredible.
It was the best film I've ever seen in 3D.
Same. It's so nuts.
So it
And
was
then-
like the dildo that came at you. You're like, what the fuck? Because it was blurry as hell, and you're like, oh shit.
I don't know how dildos come up in the Guardians of the Galaxy 2 review. I wasn't expecting
let's
that.
probably get back to Let's get back to business.
We haven't talked about Mantis yet, have we?
I was just about to talk about that. Yeah. Do you think she was a good and likable character?
Yeah, I mean, she was pretty much the exact same in the comic books as well. To be fair, she looked the same, talked the same, and like the
How do
fact
you
that
know?
oh yeah,
You can't
I know
hear
about
a
the
comic
talk.
book.
No, but like the words she used were kind of the same on the paper.
Having like brackets in a slightly sort of Asian
yeah,
accent.
in an Asian accent. Yeah, it did.
Which
No,
one was Mantis? The one with the...
the powers that she can read minds.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, no, she was good. She was likable. She was kind of like a Drax kind of character, though. Didn't really know much about the world.
Yeah.
Kind of, was a little bit stupid. Kept as a pet, I think, wasn't she?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think her involvement is going to be sort of going forward? Do you think she's going to have a major role? Do you think she's just going to be part of the team, and then every now and again she'll touch somebody and go, "Oh, you're a bit sad"?
She'll be
obviously.
She'll be part of the team, but she'll be the one that's like left behind. Like
Yeah.
all the rest will go on adventures. She'll be maybe at the main base with Cosmo or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought she was quite interesting, but it was almost she was there for Drax to laugh at. And,
Yeah.
And again, so we mentioned it earlier. He did a lot of laughing in this
He
movie.
did.
But one of the best jokes that I thought was in the movie, which killed me on the first time I watched it, was that everything's happened and they're all safe and they're all feeling really sad about Yondu's death, and they're having the Ravager funeral, and she's like, "Oh, it's so beautiful," and then Drax is like, "I think you're beautiful on the inside." That killed me. I thought it was like the best thing ever. It really, 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 really made me laugh.
It was really good.
Got another negative to bring up.
Oh, here we go.
Stan Lee cameos.
Yeah.
I love a little Stan Lee cameo when you're like, oh, is that him in the background? Stop giving him lines. For God's sake.
Yeah.
I am so... It really takes you out the film.
Yeah.
And it's not a thing now where, like, for the nerds, where they can go, I just saw Stan Lee. Like, when it should have stopped was with Spider-Man 3, when he gives his little speech. I thought, that's a nice way that we can now just go back to Stan Lee being in the back of films. Now... He's got like a chunk. He's a character.
Yeah.
Well, the
They've
fan
given him-
theory is that he is one of the Watchers.
Yeah, one of the Watchers.
Yeah.
But the thing is, he's never going to stop that dude, because he's like recorded tons. Even when he like dies, they're going to put him in it, and that like there's loads of backup.
Maybe if the three of us, with all our views,
Come on, 20 people.
say to Marvel, just stop giving him lines for fuck's sake. It's getting so annoying.
Yeah.
I like
Excelsior.
I like to look out for him in the Marvel Netflix series because he never turns up in them. There's always
true.
like a little picture of him in the background. In Daredevil and Jessica Jones, when they go into the police station, there's actually a poster of Stan Lee in the background, which I thought was quite a cool little
See,
thing.
I haven't even noticed that, and that would have been, if I ever rewatched those things and I saw that, I'd go, yes, for the nerds. Now it's just, oh god, you see like some bloke and his wife who don't even read the comics, like go, oh, Stan Lee, and you're like, that used to be me. Now I'm screaming, it's fucking Stan Lee.
Yeah.
Yeah, but do you think nowadays we have to go even more nerdy? Like, people know who Stan Lee is, so we can talk about the end credit scenes now. Do you reckon?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's
We're
go
coming
for it.
towards the end. So one of the end credit scenes is the Sovereign. They pop up again. They're like, "Oh, I've just made a new, better, more powerful being. I will call him Adam." And I guarantee, like 95% of the people are like,
Yeah.
Adam
who? Yeah.
But they'll know, oh, Stan Lee. So
Yeah.
do you think like comic book movies now have to put in like
Yeah.
super nerdy comic book things just to kind of service the nerds and not just the general public?
Yeah, I definitely think that, to be honest. Like, the last 5 end credit scenes, I reckon, like, if you wasn't a major nerd, you wouldn't really know what the fuck was going on. Like you said, who the fuck knows who Adam Warlock is, really?
Yeah.
Right? And the fact that they put Stanley at the end, I guess, makes people be like, oh, yeah, Stanley's here. But even so, even if it's just normal people, surely they'll be like, oh, it's just Stanley. Like, I wanted something like Thanos related or something good. It annoyed me. There was 5 of them. And there was nothing that I wanted to see.
I agree. I thought that the end credit scenes, it was cool that we got 5 of them. And I was sort of laughing. Like the first 4, I was like, yeah, this is funny, this is funny. But the whole time in the back of my mind, I'm thinking,
come on, Thanos.
Just give me Iron Man. Just give me something that's obvious.
Something
And
anything. Anything.
Yeah, just something that's going to make me just go,
it seemed
oh
like
my
a filler
God.
film because of that. I'm just going to say that. I'm going to put that out there now. Guardians 2, filler film, because there's no Thanos or anything connected
Well, they
to
mention him.
it.
Yeah.
I don't give a shit.
I wouldn't say it's a filler film.
Filler
but
film.
No.
the
Filler film.
the last end credit scene, it's fucking Stanley again.
Yeah,
So
that's
he's
gross.
twice in this film now.
Yeah.
And the fact that he makes a joke about wanting to lift home and stuff. It's just
Yeah,
like,
shut up. I
come
bet he
on.
ad-libbed that.
Like, what, 1950s or some shit? Go away.
Yeah, I kind of thought it wasn't really necessary because there's a part in the movie where I think they're like jumping through galaxies or whatever.
Yeah.
And you
Yeah.
actually see Stanley sitting there with a bunch of watchers. And like that alone was like,
Enough.
oh, that was cool because
Yeah.
there's this fan theory that he's a watcher and that's why he turns up in so many movies. And there's this weird connected universe thing. And then at the end, they're like, oh, they've kind of ruined that because he's just sort of sitting there and
Asking for a
cracking-
lift home.
Yeah. I was a delivery man once. Yeah, I know. Well, I watched Civil War several times. I
Yeah.
saw you at the end.
Yeah.
Tony Stank. Good, fun. But yeah, we don't need to be hit over the head with it.
Not at all.
My favourite end credit sequence was the Teenage Groot one.
Yes.
I thought that was really funny.
That was funny.
Yeah, it was good.
And because it was almost like, hey, Baby Groot's gone, because I was kind of
Yeah.
bored of him at the end. I was like, oh, we're going to
Yeah.
see, in Guardians 3, is it going to be Teenage Groot? Is it going to be fully grown Groot? Grandpa Groot?
I
Who
reckon it
knows?
will be Teenage Groot, don't you? Like,
Maybe.
I mean,
I kind of hope it's just proper Groot because
I do miss
Avengers
proper
Infinity
Groot already.
War is next, isn't it?
yeah.
I don't really want teenage Groot fighting Thanos. I want like the best of the best
Yeah,
against him.
yeah.
But I can imagine you get some laughs out of it. Like,
Yeah,
where,
there is.
hey, there's some stuff going on Earth. Thanos is down there. He's fucking shit up. Should we go? Oh,
Yeah.
come on, Groot. Stop playing your video.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
But then that'll probably wear thin after like one joke. So.
yeah,
Yeah, and then he
it's
just
true.
ages instantly.
Yeah, it's just like, oh, I'm growing up.
I'm good. But yeah, the end credit scenes. I mean, also in the, I don't know if you guys saw, you probably did. But like as the credits were rolling, there was a little bit of Jeff Goldblum in there.
There was indeed.
Yeah, which I thought was meant to be, he was meant to be in that film, but it's actually Thor Ragnarok.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. He turns up.
I got
as-
confused with two trailers at once.
Yeah, from what I've read, and I'm not like a huge comic book guy, so I'll probably revert to Michael over here. I know bits and bobs, and I've read a few bits, and I've seen the it's the World War Hulk. No, what's the one where
Planet Hulk.
Planet
Hulk,
Hulk
yeah.
on Netflix, the cartoon version. So this is the Grandmaster. He's the sort of the guy who's like, fight everybody.
Yeah, I didn't. Is that in
is
Planet Hulk? Is the Grandmaster in that?
I think so.
I just thought he was the king.
Yeah,
maybe.
Isn't Planet Hulk the one where Hulk takes over the planet? And
Yeah,
then the Grandmaster's
'cause
the
he
one that
starts
makes
off as the
everyone fight
gladiator.
everyone, right?
See, I can't remember and watched Planet Hulk or read it in a while, but I thought that it was just the king that
Maybe,
was
I'm
making
probably
him do it in the thing. I'm not familiar with the Grandmaster in the comics, but I think you said to me earlier he's the brother of the
Yeah,
collector.
from what I've heard, yeah.
Okay.
So the collector.
I love it
think
when we
he
say
showed up
heard,
somewhere.
like we've got
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 ear to the
content,
ground.
yeah.
I listened to a different podcast and they have more information than us
Yeah.
because they actually read the comics, whereas we just watch the movie and go,
Yeah.
bloody people know who Stan Lee is. And then there's other comic book fans are going, these guys know fucking nothing.
Yeah, totally.
Idiots. So all of the end credit sequences, we've got Teenage Groot,
Yep.
we've got Stan Lee again,
Yep.
we've got
Adam Warlock.
Adam Warlock. Now we've got
The other Guardians of the Galaxy, the original
Oh
Guardians.
yeah,
of
the
the Galaxy.
original. Which
So-
I was so like, I felt like I was maybe the only one in the cinema when it actually popped. That was like, oh my god,
Yeah, I didn't realise.
Yeah,
actual
I
Guardians of
wasn't
the Galaxy.
really-
I was like, fuck yeah, this is cool. Like, I actually was like, this is really sick because Yondu. This is what I was going to spoil earlier because Yondu was part of the old Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
So obviously, when they came, there was also paying respect to losing one of their
Mm,
Guardians, I suppose.
yeah.
But yeah, I'm really excited to see if they do anything with them. To be honest.
Yeah. That'd be really cool if they did show up, sort of a secondary Guardians.
It's me. I'm used to be the Guardian of the Galaxy.
That was Sylvester Stallone.
Sylvester
for
Stallone.
anyone.
I thought
Yeah.
that was Groot learn to talk.
I have a lot of cigarettes.
Oh, imagine that. Imagine if Vin Diesel didn't get the part and it was Stallone.
Yeah.
Adrian. Anyway, there was one final end credit sequence, which was Kraglin donning the fin from Yondu, trying to get the arrow, and then he accidentally stabs Drax, which I thought was quite funny.
Yeah, but at least he's trying. That's the
Yeah.
best bit. And
So-
also, we forgot to mention the Howard the Duck cameo, voiced by Seth Green.
Yeah, that was a pretty cool thing.
Again.
It was, but like he was in the other one, so it's fine.
Yeah, I didn't.
I'd already seen it.
Yeah, as soon as he popped, I was like, okay, cool. I thought that might happen. So it was kind of just whatever, wasn't it? I really hope they don't make a Howard the Duck film.
I don't think.
Like, no,
I can't imagine.
good.
Phase 4, Howard the Duck.
Just
And they
out
do their
there.
announcements.
Clinging at straws here.
Mm.
Just to finalise this whole review, a generally positive review with a few negative things. One thing I've heard other people talk about is the fit within the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and you touched on it. There was no mention of Avengers, no mention of Thanos. Well, there was mention of Thanos. There was no scenes of Thanos. We don't know where they fit into the whole thing. Was that a good thing or a bad thing for you?
I think it's a bad thing because I wanted to see that purple-headed bastard, but he wasn't around.
Big raisin.
Big raisin.
Big raisin.
Big raisin. That's
I
his name.
think it was a good thing because sometimes Marvel can't win because you have people that say, "Oh, like you said earlier, I know you were joking a bit, but this is a filler and this is just trying to connect."
Yeah.
And then you have when they go so far the other way, they go, "Well, what's the inclusion of all the other characters and things like that?"
Yeah.
So I think they learned a lesson from Iron Man 2. I think Iron Man 2 is the best example of trying to connect too much stuff instead of just having your story and having little teasers and things like that. So I think they do a good job of having their own story and then mentioning what's coming later without showing too much. The only thing I would say is use an end credit scene to do that.
Yeah.
I just wish they had something that made us go, "Oh my god, Avengers Infinity War, I'm going to beef my curtains."
Beef your curtains. No, you are right though.
Yeah.
Just a little something, you know.
Yeah, I'm kind of siding with you there, Michael. I didn't think they needed to fit it in with the whole cinematic universe. I thought it was pretty much just a straightforward movie. You weren't. Well, I wasn't worried about. Oh, where's Iron Man? I was like Guardians. I'm focused on Guardians. They had a lot of characters to fit in. They didn't need to put all these little sort of Easter eggs and stuff. And it was pretty much just a straight sequel to Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 1.
I think I'm just greedy and I just want to know more, I suppose. I don't know. But we got Spider-Man Homecoming coming out soon, so
Exactly.
we'll definitely know
And then
stuff
Thor
about that.
in the same year.
Yeah, that's
crazy, isn't
crazy.
it?
Yeah. Does that mean part 1 is next year then?
Infinity War.
Yeah.
Apparently so.
Okay.
Yeah, so we're all excited for the up-and-coming Marvel Cinematic Universe movies.
Woo!
We've been Do You Like Films podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you like what you hear, give us a subscribe on YouTube. Hit that button. Make sure you come back for our next review or next podcast talking about, maybe video games.
Oh.
Maybe we'll be talking, or we'll be doing our
Quizzing.
quiz again. Yeah.
Oh yeah, we've got some quizzes.
The quiz was a good one. So you can do that on YouTube, and that's Do You Like Films on YouTube.
And currently I'm trying to work out how to put it all on iTunes, but very fucking confusing. Like my friend
get there
told me how to
eventually.
do it, but I'm like, yeah.
So if you have any ideas on how to do iTunes,
Yeah.
If someone wants to help us,
You can
please.
email us at doyoulikefilmspodcast@gmail.com. You can hit us up on the Twitter, give us a follow, and you can retweet us and stuff.
And go on Facebook as well and send us a like.
Yeah, it's all Do You Like Films, one word, and you can find us all on there. So on behalf of these boys, my name is Shaun, and thank you so much for listening.
bye.
Yeah, bye now.